I'm your English teacher Sheikh Rafi. Today in this video, I'm going to discuss yet another important grammar topic from English. The topic for today is subject-verb agreement. This is also called as subject-verb concord. Dear students, the importance of today's topic can be understood from the fact that in India, almost all competitive exams, they test the students' knowledge in subject-verb agreement. So with that background, let us start today's topic. To start with, let us see what do we mean by subject-verb agreement. In a given sentence, the verb should always agree with the subject in terms of person and in terms of number. Now friends, we all know that subject is the most important thing in a given sentence. It is the subject who decides the verb to be followed. Now, when we look at subject, we should understand two things. Number one, what person is it? Is it first person, second person, or third person? And the second thing we have to decide is the number of the subject, whether the subject is singular or plural. Thereafter, we should decide what verb it should follow. Let us see some examples. Here, I have given some examples to make you understand how a subject agrees with the verb in terms of person and in terms of number. Let us see these examples. I write, you write, she writes. Here, I is first person, you is second person, whereas she is third person. You will notice that in case of first person and second person, the verb is not changing. But in case of third person singular, the verb changes. We take S form or ES form of the verb. The same thing I have taken in another tense. Here I am using present continuous tense. See the changes in the verb. I am writing. You are writing. She is writing. So we should notice here that when subject changes in terms of person, the verb is also changing. Let us take another example. Example number 4, where I am trying to explain the change in the number of persons. So the example is Ram writes. In this sentence, Ram is the subject. He is singular. Whereas in this sentence, Ram and Shyam is the subject. Ram and Shyam are plurals. So the verb become write. Here Ram writes, whereas here Ram and Shyam write. See the last example. I have taken here present perfect tense. I have been writing, present perfect continuous tense. I have been writing. We change the person. She has been writing. So what I want you to notice here is that the subject decides what verb it should follow. Verb should always agree with the subject in terms of person and in terms of number. So what are the rules? What are the things that we should keep in mind? Let us study further. Let us see some rules of subject and verb agreement. The very first rule I have mentioned here is the basic rule, and the rule says that a singular subject should always take a singular verb, whereas the plural subject always takes a plural verb. Let us see some examples that I have mentioned here. He is a doctor. In this sentence, he is subject. It is singular. So it takes the verb is. The same sentence, when we change the subject as plural, the verb also changes. They are doctors. See the second example. The girl sings a song. In this sentence, the subject is girl, which is singular. So it takes the verb sings. Whereas here, the subject is girls, which is plural, hence the verb changes. The girls sing a song. See the next example. Hari plays chess. Here Hari is subject and it is a singular subject. In the next example, I have changed the subject. We have taken here Gopi and Hari. Two subjects are there. It is plural. Hence, the verb also changes. It becomes playing. See the fourth example. She has a car. Here, the subject is she, third person singular. So, it takes the verb has. Whereas, the subject here is they, plural. Hence, the verb changes. It becomes have. They have a car. Then finally, Sindhu has won the match. Here, the subject is singular, Sindhu. Whereas in this example, Sindhu and Saina have won the match. So, we can notice that if the subject is singular, the verb form should also be singular. If the verb is plural, the subject form should also be plural. Hope you understand this rule. This is a fundamental rule. The second rule is, if two or more singular subjects are joined with and, then it takes plural verb. You should keep in mind and. If two or more singular subjects are joined by and, then it takes a plural verb. Let us see how. Sachin and Sehwag are good openers. In this sentence, Sachin is a singular subject, Sehwag is also a singular subject. But both these subjects are joined by and. If two singular subjects are joined by and, then it should take a plural verb. See the second example. India and Sri Lanka are neighbors. In this sentence, India is a singular subject, Sri Lanka is also a singular subject. If two singular subjects are joined by and, then it takes a plural verb. Similarly, gold and silver are precious metals. Here, gold is subject and silver is subject. Both are joined by and hence they take the verb are. See the fourth example. Truth and non-violence were Gandhi's weapons. Here, truth is one subject and non-violence is second subject. Both are singular subjects which are joined by and. Hence, they take a plural verb, were. See the last sentence. Here, I have taken more than two subjects. Pavan, Sudhir, Sunil and Krishna. Here almost four subjects are there. Four subjects and they are all joined together by and. So if two or more singular subjects are joined by and, we take a plural verb. So that is as simple as that. Let us see the next rule. Dear friends, if you look at rule number 3, you will find that rule number 3 is an exception to rule number 2. Rule number 2 said that if two or more singular subjects are joined by and, then we should use a plural verb. But rule number 3 says that if two subjects are joined by and they refer to the same person or same idea, then it takes a singular verb. Let us try to understand by looking at some examples. Number 1, slow and steady wins the race. When I say slow and steady, I am not talking about two different subjects. I am talking about a single concept, a single idea. That is why it takes a singular verb. Slow and steady wins the race. Similarly, time and tide waits for none. When I say time and tide, I am not referring to two different subjects. I am referring to a single idea, and that is why it takes a singular verb. Let us see one more example. Here you will understand. The writer, director and producer of the film is Karan. Here I am using the verb is, which is singular form of verb. Now why I am using it singular? Because here the director, the writer, director and producer, they are not three different people. They are all the single person, that is Karan. So that is why I use the verb singular here. The writer, director and producer of the film is Karan. Similarly, the fourth example, my friend, philosopher and guide is my father. Here I am again using the verb is, which is a singular form, because all these three subjects, that is the friend, the philosopher and guide, it refers to one person. Hence I use the singular verb. Similarly, the last example, the captain and coach of the team has retired. So when I say the captain and coach, both these refer to one person, and hence I use the singular form of the verb has retired. Now students, things doesn't seem to be as simple as it should be. All of you should be really cautious, because examiner most of the times try to confuse you in terms of the subject. Now see how the examiner can confuse you. If you look at this example, the writer, you will find that before director or before producer, we have not used any type of article. So when we don't use articles, it refers to the same person. But if we use articles, for example, the writer, the director and the producer, when we use articles, then it becomes three different persons and we have to use the plural verb. But as you can see here in these sentences, we have not used any article, so it refers to a singular person only. So I hope you understand this rule. Let us go further and see the next rule. Let us see the next rule, rule number 4. It says, if a singular noun is joined with other nouns using with or as well as, it takes a singular noun. Now you should note the difference between the previous rule and this rule. In the previous rule we used and for joining two nouns, but here we are using with or as well as. So if you join two nouns with or as well as, then it takes a singular noun. Let us see some examples. Anil with all his friends has gone to picnic. In this sentence you will find Anil is one subject, whereas all his friends is another subject. Anil is singular, whereas all his friends is plural. So they are two different subjects, yet they are joined with. So if two subjects are joined with, then we have to use the singular form of verb. So we write Anil with his friends has gone to picnic. See the next example. Shahrukh as well as Amir is a good actor. Had it been in the previous example, would have written Shahrukh and Amir are good actors. But no, here we have joined these two subjects using as well as. So it should take a singular verb. Hence we write Shahrukh as well as Amir is a good actor. See the next example. The minister with his followers is protesting. Here the subject is the minister, which is singular. The other subject is his followers, which is plural. Now both these subjects are joined using with. Hence we take the verb singular, is protesting. The fourth example, the pilot with his passengers has landed safely. Here the pilot is a singular subject, whereas his passengers is a plural subject. Both these subjects are joined by with. Hence we are taking singular verb. The pilot with his passengers has landed safely. See the last example. The king as well as his ministers has arrived. So the king here is a singular subject, whereas his ministers is a plural subjects. Two different subjects, they are joined by as well as. So we have to take a singular verb. So we write the king as well as his ministers has arrived. Now we have to understand the logic here. Though there are plural subjects in the sentence, then why should we use a singular verb? The logic is very simply because when we use with or when we use as well as, our stress or our focus is mainly on the first subject, which is singular. As we focus more on the first subject, which is singular, so our verb also should be singular, right? Let's see the next rule, rule number 5. Now from here onwards, you are going to find some interesting things. You have to be really alert. See this thing. If two subjects are joined by either or, neither nor, the verb should agree with the subject nearest to it. Now here we are using third type of conjunction. In the third rule we used and. In the fourth rule we used as well as with. Here we are using either or, neither nor. So if two subjects are joined using either or, neither nor, if both the subjects are singular, it will take singular verb. If there is any change, say the first subject is plural, the second subject is singular, or the second subject is plural and the first subject is singular, whatever case it is, the verb will take the form of that subject which is closer to it. See here what it is given. The verb should agree with the subject nearest to it. Now, what do you mean by that? Let us see some examples and try to understand. Either you or he has broken the glass. In this sentence, you is subject and he is another subject. You is plural whereas he is singular. So when one subject is plural and the other is singular, what form of verb we should take? We should take the verb form which matches with the subject which is closer to the verb. So here he is closer to the verb. So he is singular. So we take has broken, that is singular form of the verb. Let us see another example. Neither he nor I am happy. Here the two subjects are he and I. Both are singular. Since I is closer to the verb, I am taking am happy as the verb. So verb should agree with the subject which is closer to it. Let us see one more example. Either John or his friends have done this. Now in this sentence, subject is John and the second subject is his friend. John is singular subject, his friends is plural subject. Now if you note here, the plural subject is closer to the verb, closer to the verb. So the verb should agree with this subject. As this subject, that is his friends, is plural, we take the plural form of the verb. Let us take the next example. Neither the manager nor the workers are willing to work. In this sentence, the manager is the first subject, whereas the workers is the second subject. If you look at the verb are willing, you will find that the workers is closer, the second subject is closer to or nearest to the verb. So verb should match with this subject. As this subject is plural, we take the plural form of the verb. The same thing in a different way we have taken in the last example. Neither my friends nor I. Here the first subject, my friends, it is plural, whereas I is singular. But since the second subject, that is I, is closer or nearer to the verb, we are agreeing the verb with this subject. Hence it becomes I am to worry. Neither my friends nor I am to worry. So this is a rule, a very important rule. We call it rule of proximity. Proximity means closeness or nearness. The verb takes the forms of that subject which is closer to the verb, right? Let us see the next rule. Now let us look at rule number 6, which says that whenever we use words like either, neither, each, everyone, many, none, and any, it must be followed by a singular verb. Let us see some examples. Neither of the boys is strong enough. If you notice here, neither of the boys. Boys is a plural subject. But since we are using neither here, we should use the singular form of the verb. Similarly, in the second example, either of the two men has stolen it. If you notice here, either of the two men. When we say two men, the subject seems to be plural, but as we are using either here, we should use the singular form of the verb. In third example, each of these parts. So when we say these parts, it seems to be plural, but as we are using each, we have to use the singular form of the verb is available in India. The fourth one, every one of the citizens. So you will note here, citizens looks plural, but as we are using everyone before it, we have to use the singular form of the verb. Again, in the fifth example, any of the three questions, the subject seems to be plural, but we are using any before it, and hence we have to use the singular form of the verb. Any of the three questions is to be written. Similarly, the last example, many a woman has done so. When we say women, it is a plural, but we are using many a, hence we have to use the singular form of the verb. Now immediately we may have a doubt, why is it so happening, why we are using singular form of the verb though the subject seems to be plural. The logic is very simple here, students. All of you listen to it very carefully. The words either, neither, each, everyone, many a, none, and any, what we are doing is we are looking at each subject individually. Now that is what makes it a singular subject. See, for example, when I say any of the three questions is definitely plural, but when I say any of the three questions, I am looking at each question individually, hence the subject becomes singular. So we should use a singular form of a verb. See here, neither of the boys, there are many boys, but when I say neither of the boys, it means I am looking at each boy individually, so it becomes a singular subject. Similarly, every one of the citizens, lot of citizens are there, citizens is a plural subject, but when I say everyone, it means I am counting each and every person. I am looking at everyone individually. Hence, the subject becomes singular and the verb form also should be singular. See the last example. Many a woman has done so. When I say many a woman, women, it's a plural, but I am talking about each woman individually. Hence, the verb should also be singular. I hope you understand this simple logic. Let us continue with the further rules. Rule number 7 is a very easy one. You can understand it very easily. There are some nouns which are plural in forms, which looks plural, but they are singular in meaning. Since they are singular in meaning, they take singular verbs. For example, mathematics is an important subject. Here the subject is mathematics. Mathematics is a plural, but it is taken as a singular in meaning, so we are using singular form of verb. Similarly, physics is applicable in all fields, so physics is a subject, a plural, but we are taking it in singular meaning, so we use singular verb, is applicable. Similarly, the third example, the news is spreading really fast. Here news is a plural subject, though it is plural in form, but we consider it as singular, so we use singular verb, the news is spreading really fast. See the fourth example, billiards is a game of class. Here the subject is billiards, though billiards seems to be plural, but in meaning it is considered as singular, hence we use the singular form of the verb. Similarly, the last example, Indian economics. So here you can notice economics is a plural word, so Indian economics, though it is plural, but in terms of meaning it gives a singular idea. Indian economics is a vast subject. So this one was a really easy for you, hope you understood. Let us see the next rule. Let us look at the next rule. Rule number 8, it says if some specific quantity or amount is considered to be one whole, it takes a singular verb. Now that is the thing you have to note down here. Whenever either the subject is plural or two or more subjects are there, but if it refers to one singular quantity or one single idea, then it becomes singular and we have to use a singular verb. The same thing is conveyed here. If it is considered to be one whole, then it takes a singular verb. For example, 500 rupees is a big amount for kids. Now here 500 rupees, it's a plural subject, but I am not considering it individually. I am taking it whole as one single unit. So it becomes a singular and I use the singular form of the verb. Similarly, 50 kilometers is not a much distance. So 50 kilometers is a plural subject, but I am taking it to be as one whole and I say 50 kilometers is not a much distance. Similarly, 10 minutes is enough for me to do it. 10 minutes is the subject here, which is plural, but I am not talking in terms of individual times or separate time. I am taking this as one whole, hence I consider it as singular and use a singular verb. 10 minutes is enough for me to do it. Students, I would like to repeat here once again the logic behind it. You should always remember the first rule. Singular subject takes singular verb, plural subject takes plural verb. That is the logic, and the entire testing of student is done around this single logic. The examiner will complicate the question by complicating the subject. All the while you need to concentrate on subject. You have to identify whether he is talking about singular subject or plural subject, whether the subject is to be seen in totality as a single unit or as an individual, or it should be seen separately, and only then we can decide the form of the verb. Let us see further about subject verb agreement. So let us see the last rule mentioned here. It's actually not a rule, we can say it as an exception or as a matter of caution, right? It says that error of proximity. Generally verb is to agree with the subject close to it, and this should be avoided as shown below, right? Let us once again recall what do we mean by proximity. The basic rule which we learned earlier is that the verb should agree with the subject which is close to it. So close to it means proximity here. But when we follow this rule blindly, we are bound to make mistakes. So we should be always cautious, careful about error of proximity. Now how this error is made, I have tried to explain with some examples. Let us try to learn these errors and make sure that we don't repeat it when we do write the exams. Let us see here. The behavior of the students were disturbing. So according to the rule of proximity, the verb here is were. So closer to it is the students, which is plural, and we feel that were is correct here. But if you try to focus on the subject, we are talking about the behavior of the students. We are not talking about the students. We are talking about the behavior, which is singular. Hence, the correct form of the verb should be the behavior of the students was disturbing. Was should be used because the behavior is singular, and we tend to go wrong if we look at the students. The students is not the subject here. The behavior, we are talking about the behavior of the student. So the behavior is singular, so it should take singular verb. Let us look at the second example. The cost of all things have increased. Again, you will notice here that have is the verb, and close to it the subject is things, which seems to be plural, and we tend to take a plural verb here, but this is wrong. What we are talking about here is we are talking about the cost. We are talking about the cost, which is singular, hence the verb should also be singular. We should use has. The cost of all the things has increased. See the third one, the director of all these films. Right here you can catch the director of all these films. So all these films has a single director, so the subject here is singular. The director of all these films is present here. It should not be are present, it should be is present. We do this mistake because we look at the subject in close proximity to the verb. So there we go wrong, and we should not look at this, but we should look at the main subject here. See the next example. The after effects of the disaster is horrible. So we see that verb is here, and the close to the verb is disaster, which is singular. So we have taken singular verb, but that is not the thing. What we are talking about, what the subject is, the after effects. So this is a plural subject here, so this should be are. The after effects of the disaster are horrible. Similarly, the last one, the results of the exam. So you could have noticed here the results, it's a plural, so here the verb form should also be plural. The results of the exam have been released. So I hope students you would have got the logic behind deciding what form of verb should be used for the subject. We have to be really sharp in catching the subject. If we have a clear view, clear sight about the subject, we can easily identify whether the subject is singular or plural, and so we can decide verb according to it. The basic rule stands still the same. The singular subject takes the singular verb, the plural subject takes the plural verbs. That was all about subject and verb agreement. Hope all of you enjoyed today's class and benefited from it. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.